What's going on, everyone? It's Nina Infinity. Welcome back to the channel for another segment of Infinite Cringe. And boy, howdy, this one really is cringe. Because if you don't already agree with the saying, you don't hate the government enough, after this story, you probably will. But before we dive in, please make sure that you smash the like, share the video, subscribe if you're new here, and leave a comment for the YouTube algorithm. It helps all of us creators. All right, let's get to today's topic, which is Lauren Chen. She's back. And for those of you that don't know, Lauren Chen is a political and pop culture commentator who basically was outright canceled in every way imaginable. A straight up political hit job. So back in September 2024, Lauren and her husband and several other right-wing commentators, including Lauren Southern, Tim Pool, Dave Rubin, and Benny Johnson, were accused by US officials of collaborating with a covert Russian propaganda campaign. Why? Because of their involvement with Tenet Media, the company that Lauren Chen co-founded. According to the allegations, Tenet Media was supposedly part of this Russian effort to push propaganda and influence right-wing audience and get them to vote for Trump. In other words, the US officials labeled them Russian assets, trying to interfere with the US elections, which is a huge deal. Since then, and especially with the new administration in place, it's becoming clearer and clearer that a lot of funny business around the whole Russia hoax was going on. Remember, the whole Hunter Biden laptop was also supposed to be a Russian plant. And yeah, so if you've been following the story, you know that the left has been screaming about Russia since Trump became president in 2016. So needless to say, when this story dropped about Lauren Chen, I was extremely skeptical. I followed her content as well as Lauren Southern's, and I even streamed with both of them, and they both seemed like really just genuinely passionate people that cared about the topics that they were discussing. They certainly didn't seem like Russian assets to me, or like Russian spies or whatever. They definitely didn't give off that vibe. But despite that, when the accusations came out, a lot of people threw them under the bus. And you know what? Those people. To this day, I see comments in the Tim Pool chat accusing him of being a Russian asset, which is so ridiculous. It's wild. And of course, after that, Lauren Chen, well, and Lauren Southern too, but Lauren Chen specifically disappeared off the internet. All her YouTube channels were deleted, of course, and she was canceled. And it kind of made sense that she went silent because when you're going through something this hardcore, it makes sense to stay silent and not add anything that could possibly jeopardize your case if you're fighting it, which she was. But I always figured that one day she will return to set the record straight and let us know what the hell actually happened. And that day is today. Lauren has finally broken her silence on Twitter, or X, or whatever you want to call it. And I wanted to make this video so that I can share that with you and let you all know that she is back and how we can possibly all help her. So let's get into her statement. All right, so this is her post here, posted September 4th, 2025. And she says, 1 year ago today, my family was awoken by the FBI about to break down our door. Today, I'm finally breaking my silence. And here she shares her Give, Send, Go, which I will put in the description. So obviously she starts with the little baby pictures, the little babies, her babies. Oh, they're so cute. And okay, so let's start reading this statement. This past year has brought trials I never imagined possible. There is so much I have to say, but for now, I will do my best to answer a question I know many of you have been wondering. What happened? Yep, we've all been wondering that, Lauren. I sure have. On September 4th, 2024, 2 months before the general election, my husband, 2-year-old, and I were woken early in the morning by 30 armed FBI agents about to break down our door. At the time, I was entering my 4th month of pregnancy. I cannot even imagine how she must have felt. That's insane. The FBI spent the next 4 hours searching our house and interrogating us about our company Tenet, which licensed mostly right-leaning conservative content. They took all of our electronics and seized our assets. That is rough. This included our life savings and revenue that had nothing to do with Tenet, such as payments from contracts with the Blaze and TPUSA. That's insane, you guys. That is insane. The same day, then, Attorney General Merrick Garland published a press release which essentially labeled Tenet a Russian propaganda operation intended on subverting American elections. The Department of Justice also unsealed an indictment on two Russian individuals that worked in conjunction with our company, but were not in US custody or even in the country. This lengthy indictment of these individuals was largely focused on Tenet, though most of the information provided was false, inaccurate, or out of context. There were also claims made concerning issues outside of our knowledge, and we regard those allegations with extreme skepticism. I mean, yeah, me too. Garland painted Tenet as a covert Russian propaganda mouthpiece and our conservative leaning talent as unwitting propagandists. It's disgusting what they did to them. This implication was that the Russian government was astroturfing support for President Donald Trump in the upcoming election, and that his conservative and right wing supporters online and in independent media were merely behind him because they were paid to be. This notion was categorically untrue. Wow, that sounds really familiar if you're following the Blake Lively case. When she's like, there's no way nobody likes me. They had to have been paid not to like me. But, you know, that has nothing to do with this. So moving right along. It's just funny how narcissists operate. They're always the same MO. She goes on. To be clear, my own commentary has never been shaped by any outside parties, despite working with several different companies during my time on social media. Furthermore, as a company, Tenet offered total editorial freedom to our creators. We never forced or advised our creators to push certain agendas, nor were we ever told to do so by any third party. In fact, we often did not see the content our creators published directly to our platform until it went live. We encourage these creators to do what they do best, speak their minds boldly. To suggest that their earnest opinions are tantamount to Russian propaganda is not only dishonest, but besmearing of views commonly shared by a huge swath of Americans. In any case, due to the political nature of Garland's press release, our story quickly made international headlines, and we were falsely labeled spies, propagandists, and even traitors. They were. They absolutely were. I saw it all over the place that they're traitors, that they should be in jail, awful stuff. We wanted to set the record straight, but it immediately became apparent that any attempts to change the Biden DOJ resulted in threats of arrests, charges, and potentially prison. Wow, that's insane. And so, out of fear of being separated from our children and under the advice of counsel, we chose to remain silent until we could be sure that speaking out would not result in further judicial or extrajudicial punishment. That makes complete sense to me. Though there were never any criminal charges, much less convictions, due to this widely publicized investigation, all of our professional contracts were promptly dropped. We were deplatformed from YouTube, TikTok, Discord, and Google. We and even some of our family members were debanked by several financial institutions. We were forced to move due to death threats. Our work-based immigration visa, which was torpedoed by the actions against our company, was not renewed. The Canadian government also seemed to have opened their own investigation into us following the highly publicized American case. And of course, we quickly assembled legal fees well into six figures. I can't even imagine. My goodness. In March of this year, due to high blood pressure caused by chronic distress, I was induced and delivered our daughter. Despite the circumstances surrounding the pregnancy, she is happy and a healthy baby and has been the light in our lives during these difficulties. Thanks be to God. No, seriously, thank God. That is insane. I can't even imagine having that type of stress when you're pregnant. it's a miracle that her baby's okay. In April, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York informed our lawyer that the investigation into us and our company had finally been closed. This news provided us with some relief, but it soon became clear that although we weren't criminals, the SDNY had no interest in restoring us to where we were before the investigation began, though they could easily do so. They could absolutely easily do so. And of course, they are not. And this is why I tell you, you cannot hate the government enough, people. There would be no similar press release absolving us of the very public and very serious allegations that had been made against us. Of course not. Why would there be? Why? They destroy lives. And then, of course, they're never going to put it back together. And usually you really can't put Humpty Dumpty together again anyway. But even if they did that, Lauren and them this will follow her probably for the rest of her lives. But I mean, it's the very least they could do. They should do it, but they won't. There would be no help clearing our names with the Canadian government, another government that can go itself. They would not restore our visa status. And predictably, despite the lack of charges, our conviction, our financial assets, and all of our life savings would not be returned. That is insane, you guys. We have lived humbly this past year, both due financial woes and public vilification. We have had very little certainty about what our future as a family will look like because my American visa was contingent upon our company. We had no choice but to leave our home and children's place of birth. We are doing everything in our power to get a new visa and return home. Sadly, we also lost some people who we believed were our friends. That will always happen. That will always happen because humans are fickle. But more notably, we were blessed to have quite a number of our colleagues reach out with words of support. Some even published videos or posted in our defense. Those are real friends. Those are the real ones. I am humbled to say that there are too many to thank individually. We have also received many kind messages from our audience during this time, and I cannot thank you all enough. Your messages of support, which have continued to come even though I've been gone from public life for a year now, never failed to bring tears to my eyes. Oh, poor Lauren. No criminal charges were ever actually brought against myself, my husband, or our company. The legal investigation has been quietly closed. Despite this, the road ahead of us is fraught with difficulty and uncertainty. I wish this ordeal was over, but our struggles continue as we fight to correct the many ways that our lives were upended. To that end, as some of you have kindly suggested and offered, we are now seeking help to cover our still growing legal fees and our effort to return home. Any support is greatly appreciated, and we look forward to getting back to content creation and our lives soon. Thank you. My goodness, what a letter, what a statement, what a story. I mean, I honestly don't doubt any of it because the government is crazy. And yes, they can take it all away in an instant. It's crazy what they did to Lauren and her family. Like, it makes me absolutely outraged. I am outraged for her. Imagine having your entire livelihood ripped away from you under false allegations and you can't even get it back. Can't even get it back. I'm disgusted. And it could happen to anyone. That's the scary part. I have to say that I'm really glad she's fighting back and I wish her all the very best. And of course, she did share her Give Send Go, and she also added this extra post here under the main post where she says, "Oh, and as you can imagine, in light of this, we have become big advocates of crypto. If anyone is so inclined, here are our wallet addresses." And I'm going to definitely be posting that and this in the description so you guys can access that really quickly. But there's something else that we can do to help Lauren, and that is to signal boost her post and to tag Team YouTube. As you can see in my post here, if you see, I've tagged YouTube creators, and Team YouTube, and politely asked them to do the right thing and restore Lauren's channels. So these are the tags that you need to put on there for clarity. We have to put the pressure on YouTube to restore her channels. And I know some of you are thinking, forget YouTube. She should just go on Rumble and Twitter. And sure, yes, she should diversify, absolutely. But this is about what's right. And what's right is that YouTube should restore all her channels. It was unjustly taken away from her. And only we, the audience, have the power to push them to do that. So please retweet me, retweet Lauren, and others pointing this out. Better yet, make your own tweet or post or whatever it's called now. Tag the right accounts. Let's make noise. After all that she's been through, getting her channel back would be a small win, but a win nonetheless. That's all I've got for today. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure you smash the like, share the video, leave a comment, and let the algorithm know that you enjoyed the content. And of course, subscribe if you're new here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!